Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, Democrats really thought they got something here. They thought Elon Musk handed them a massive win with this whole Epstein accusation nonsense. This desperate fantasy that somehow, someway, they've now got Donald Trump tied to Jeffrey Epstein. You know, something they've been trying to make stick for the last 9 years. Well, now Elon Musk, in full crash-out mode, throws some gasoline on that fire by tossing out this baseless claim that Trump is somehow tied to Epstein's dirty business. Well, the left is practically foaming at the mouth. Elon said it too, therefore it must be true. It's been 9 years in the making, folks, and now it's finally breaking through. Yeah, well, not so sure about that one, Democrats. I regret to inform you that Epstein's own former lawyer just basically dropped the hammer, shutting down this pathetic little desperate narrative, at least until the files themselves are actually dropped. Let me update you guys on this story, but this video is actually brought to you guys by a sponsor, so let's first play that clip. This video is brought to you guys by American Hartford Gold. Donald Trump is back in the White House, and America is on track to make the biggest economic revival in history. The economy is likely to surge, investment is pouring in, and confidence is returning. And in times like these, it's important to invest properly, and that, my friends, is where American Hartford Gold steps in. Because as we all know, one of the best ways to protect your wealth is by investing in precious metals, that's gold and silver. And friends, American Hartford Gold is simply the best in the business when it comes to protecting you from economic downturns. They have 5-star ratings across the board with an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. In other words, they're a market leader in the space, helping Americans lock in their financial security by diversifying into real tangible assets. And I know that sounds good, but trust me, it gets even better. All you gotta do is give them a call and they'll send physical gold and silver straight to your doorstep, or they can help you add it to your IRA or 401k. Zero hassle, just smart investing. Actually, it gets even better because American Hartford Gold is currently running a special right now where you could get up to $15,000 in free silver on qualifying purchases. So what are you guys waiting for? Sure, things look like they're on the up and up right now, but history tells you it doesn't last forever. The incompetent buffoons will at some point bring on hard times and you gotta protect yourself. And so to get that process started, all you gotta do is call 844-440-1005. That's 844-440-1005, or text Hivemind, that's Hivemind one word, to 65532. Again, text Hivemind to 65532, and they'll get you guys set on the right track. A huge thank you to American Hartford Gold. Now back to the video. Alright folks, so take a look at this on screen. Epstein's own lawyer, David Schoen, who was hired to defend Epstein 9 days before he died, well, he said this, quote, "I was hired to lead Jeffrey Epstein's defense as his criminal lawyer 9 days before he died, and he sought my advice for months before that. I can say authoritatively, unequivocally, definitively that he had no information to hurt President Trump. I specifically asked him." Then in response to Roger Stone, who wrote that Donald Trump is not in the Epstein files, here are the facts, David Schoen responded, "I could tell you unequivocally as someone who would know that President Trump never did anything wrong with Jeffrey Epstein." So according to Epstein's own lawyer, he specifically asked, and Epstein had supposedly no information on Donald Trump. So far, evidence tying Donald Trump to any of Epstein's nefarious activities, well, nothing, nada. Most evidence seems to be pointing to the opposite direction. The only evidence the Democrats have been running with is that Donald Trump with his wife and daughter once flew his plane from Florida to New York. That's it. According to every reliable record that we've got, including FAA flight logs reviewed by multiple journalists over the last 9 years, Trump never stepped foot on Epstein's island. There's no public knowledge of Donald Trump ever visiting Jeffrey Epstein's creepy Manhattan townhouse. No, it's just one flight with his wife and daughter. That's the big smoking gun. Not to mention we know the history between the two. What Trump actually did was ban Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago back in 2004. And the reason was, supposedly, because Jeffrey Epstein allegedly tried to hit on a young girl at Trump's club. So Trump threw the guy out. That's what we know so far, but look, if there's any evidence that comes out that shows that Donald Trump actually did something, well then obviously we'd be having a different conversation. And I think that's something that makes us fundamentally different from the modern left. We don't worship politicians like they're messiahs. No, we try to simply call the balls and strikes. And as I'm seeing it right now, I think it's pretty clear that Trump has no ties to Epstein's criminal enterprise. Donald Trump's simply a billionaire socialite, and as was Jeffrey Epstein, and so they crossed paths a couple times in the 90s and early 2000s, and it very quickly went sour. But Democrats want to capture this thing, put it in a bottle, and sell it to the masses. But obviously that isn't going to work because they're simply rehashing old, tired smears that we've heard a million times before. I mean, they actually think that they're going to be able to revive this Epstein angle. I don't think so, and honestly, for a couple reasons. Not just because I don't don't think it's going to stick and there's no actual substance there, but also because just think about it. How many of them do you think are on that list? Maybe quite a few, who knows? Yeah, my prediction is over the next couple days, what's likely to happen is Democrats jump on this bandwagon to release the list after decades of shoving this story under the rug. And then, of course, it's slowly to fizzle, dissipate into absolute nothingness. And I think it's very clear why. I think there's a lot of interests who'd rather shove this story in the vault, never to be seen again. And that's kind of funny in a way, because in the moment, Democrats are celebrating this. Oh, we got this Epstein angle. We got Donald Trump this time. The walls are definitely closing in. But now after this accusation, there's likely going to be increased interest and activism, not from the left, but from the right, continuing this pressure on Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino to release the full unredacted Epstein list, and beyond that, Epstein files. And what do you think happens when that file is finally released? I don't know. Something tells me there's not going to be much implicating Donald Trump, but who knows what we're going to find, huh? Just not so sure the Democrats will be celebrating then. You know, this one's once again going to be a blip on the radar. I know some people are very concerned. The potential damage that this could cause to Donald Trump, the Democrats are going to run with it, but I assure you that you could pretty much give it 1 week, and nobody's going to even be talking about this nonsense. I think most people understand that Elon Musk is quite the character, let's put it. He has the tendency to just fly off the frickin' rail, and I think that's what this was. I think most people perceive it as such. And now seeing the Democrats jump on this with so much excitement and so much glee, well, what story do you think that's going to tell? That once again, Democrats jump on the next salacious thing. Oh, this is the false accusation that will get us over the finish line this time, right? Every single time. I mean, earlier in the video, I was alluding to the fact that this is an old, played out, desperate angle that the Democrats have been trying to play for years. If they're down in the polls, well, out comes the Jeffrey Epstein accusations. Just post pictures of Donald Trump next to Jeffrey Epstein in the 1990s, when Kamala Harris was down big time in the polling data, just back in 2024. We all remember when the New York City model, Stacey Williams, came out with this story that Donald Trump supposedly groped her in 1993 while Jeffrey Epstein was in the room, and that Jeffrey Epstein said that Donald Trump was his best friend. Yeah, except there was only one problem with that. She claimed in her story that she was with Jeffrey Epstein in 1993 at his brownstone, but he didn't even live at that brownstone home during the year that she made the accusation. And so what happened with that story? No evidence, no witnesses, no corroboration, just another E. Jean Carroll, another Christine Blasey Ford situation. You might as well call it a Juicy Smollett situation that the Democrats jump all over because they're just that greedy. If they sniff out even the slight potential at a scandal, they are all on it like a pack of hyenas. It's the same old Democrat grift. Clearly, Elon launched some petty attacks here. It is what it is. It's not a good feeling, but it's not what the Democrats are making it out to be. It's just another chance for them to call Trump a monster so they could attempt to distract from their own failures and their own scandals. It'll pass, it'll pass. To be honest, I'm less caught up in the drama, less worried about this Elon Musk versus Donald Trump feud, and more focused on, once again, yes, please put attention to the Epstein files, because at this point that's way too long in the making. Pam Bondi said she was going to release the full files, and well, now I guess here's more reason to do so. I guess, there's always a good that could come out of a bad situation. What can I say? I'm a glass half full kind of guy. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.